Hey everybody, it's Sixon. I thought today we would look at another Crusader build, more based around doing as much lightning damage as we can. So every ability, with the exception of using the critical laws of valor, is generating out lightning damage. So if you have some gear that has plus lightning damage, you're going to see a significant increase. That I don't have, because I build my Crusader towards the other build on the Heaven's Champion video. That's the one I still play. But I wanted to take a look at something a little bit extra and see how it plays and what you all might think of how it plays. So with the abilities, we're looking at using like Justice with Burst, having that nice little pop at the end, and it does solid damage, particularly when you're using Blunt mixed in with it. Using Blessed Hammers, coming back here again to the Blunt, with Thunderstruck, which is actually, out of all the Blessed Hammers, it's one that I really like. It actually has a really cool visual too, with all the lightning arcing back towards your Crusader. Iron Skin Charge Up. This gives you a defense and more stun. Provoke with Charge Up. You get that all-powerful 50% bonus to all damage you deal for 4 seconds as lightning. Critical hit damage off Laws of Valor. That's another one. It's just really powerful for what it is. It works both group and solo, and so it comes out fun. And then Falling Sword, Part the Clouds, because Falling Sword is one of those really fun abilities that I don't get a chance to use. There is no holy version of Falling Sword, which I kind of feel like there should be. So it doesn't really work into my holy builds. But it's still, you know, just the concept alone is a lot of fun. Is it the best ability? Yeah, it's situational, honestly, in my opinion. Going down to passives, Finery again, because well, I'm slotted with a lot of gems, and you probably are too. Blunt, we are actually going to use Blessed Hammers and Justice. I know I said in my last video I'm not really a big fan of it. That still holds true. But this is what seems to work great for this build. Heavenly Strength, still finding it as a mandatory talent, and hopefully something can be done with that someday. And Righteousness, let's bring out more Wrath, so we can put out more hammers, more Falling Swords, well, you know, despite the cooldown. You know, Maximum Wrath, it's just solid talent all over. So what we're going to do is we're going to run down and see if we can find a mob, or 1,000. There we go. So what I like to do is I like to get out the Falling Sword right away so that it's doing the arcing lightning all over. And then get out all these beams that I can. You'll find that, honestly, I don't end up throwing a lot of the Justice Hammers. That's going to go well. I don't end up throwing a lot of the Justice Hammers because of how powerful the Blessed Hammers are, and how much less damage, or how much less cost they have. It doesn't often outpace my... Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought while trying to fight here. Alright, so it doesn't go off, you know, only costing 10. You don't really need to generate that much because you're going to regen that by yourself, or Provoke is going to generate it for you when you're using that, and you're using that offensively all the time. Alright, go, go, go. You know, the great thing, I don't know what the range is on these hammers, but they seem to arc quite a ways. And if you catch somebody in the arc, and the arc does a fair amount of damage, it is nice because of the nature of the hammers to just circle and fly out and away. There are times in the other builds where you're not hitting anything. And you would like to, you know, keep applying damage constantly to all targets in the area. This one, it doesn't have the ramp-up feel of the Heaven's Champion. It doesn't really do that. But you do get that nice visual with all the hammers going crazy all over the place. And I'd say my main complaint, it honestly feels more like a caster. And a lot to do with this. Cast Injustice, when you're doing it, you're a caster with a shield, you don't even use your weapon. You know, you're throwing magical hammers at people. And you're occasionally popping in and stomping on someone and provoking them to get a little more damage and a lot more wrath. And then trying to protect yourself with the shield. It generates a lot of stuns, and if you have an item, I do have this item, Word Ward, that gives me a % chance to stun whenever I do lightning damage. And that's kind of where the focus is. Your survivability is through your ability to stun out your targets. So I'd love to hear what you're doing. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you've tried this build or something similar. I'd like to see what you've done with that. Till next time, have fun, play your specs.